40 op de wereldranglijst. Noppie, Danny, Noppert!
Yes, I can. Doubt, better leave. I'm running with this plan. Pull me, grab me, grabs in the bucket, can't have me. I'll be the president one day. January 1st. Oh, you like that gossip? Like you the one drinking what gossip.com. Now I got a word for your tongue. How many Rolling Stones you want? Yeah, I got a brand new spirit speaking and it's done. Woke up on the side of the bed like I won. Talk like the wind in my chest to that sun. G5 in the US to Taiwan. Now who can say that? I wanna play back. Mama knew I was a needle in a haystack. Upper body boy, plus made back. I got a feeling it's a rap. ASAP.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah.
En dan de tegenstander van Danny. Hij is op dit moment de nummer 23 op de wereldranglijst. En dat maakt hem de nummer 2 van Nederland. Spelend in zijn 28e Eurotour. Geef een hartelijk applaus. The Machine Gun, Jermaine Wattimena!
De hut gaat uit zijn bol. Allemaal van links naar rechts, de tent die wordt gemold. Allemaal van links naar rechts, de tent die wordt gemold. Allemaal van links naar rechts, de tent die wordt gemold. Naar links. Naar rechts. Nog een keer. Naar links. Naar rechts. Gezellig, blijf de glazen vullen met nog meer alcohol. We zijn niet meer te houden, gooi de bankjes enkel vol. Zitten hangen liggen, zo zijn we niet getrouwd.
Twee fantastische spelers betekent ook dat we van scheidsrechter zijn gewisseld. Geef een hartelijk applaus. Altijd lachend, George Noble.
Jermaine Wattimena, the machine gun, the new addition to the Netherlands World Cup of Darts team, playing in his home country against his countryman Danny Noppert. And Jermaine, never has there been a man happier on his walk-on, and never has there been a man so out of time with his walk-on music. He doesn't care, he's having the time of his life, and it was very much probably this tournament a couple of years ago where Jermaine went from being a very sort of withdrawn individual to somebody who just started to try and enjoy himself on the hockey, getting up on stage and actually really soaking in the atmosphere, and it seems to have improved his game. He is now in the seedings for these tournaments. He's a guy who is threatening to win titles. On occasion it's not consistent, you've got to say that. But Jermaine Wattimena, out of all the players in the world of darts who has not won a PDC title, he is right up there near the top of the list of the most likely next winners. But Danny Noppert was absolutely incredible yesterday in dispatching Harry Ward, the latest new winner on the PDC circuit. 104.5 average, a 6-1 victory. One Dutchman will go through to the final day here at the Dutch Darts Masters, but which one will it be, Paul Nicholson?
Well, you've got to say that after yesterday's performance, maybe Noppert is the slight favourite for this one. But don't underestimate Jermaine Wattimena. Do that at your peril. He's going into what is arguably the biggest thing that's happened in his career so far, and that's teaming up with Van Gerwen at the World Cup. So he's going to be in a buoyant mood, and based on that choreography that we saw to some pretty awful use of bass, we've got to see he's looking pretty happy. How happy will he be in 20 to 25 minutes?
Well, let's find out. It is a clash of styles. Danny Noppert, a very methodical player. Jermaine Wattimena, a quick and
game on.
And speaking of happy, it is the puppy George Noble.
58.
Forever a ray of sunshine in this dark and troubling world.
Clash of styles in this one as well. Very deliberate Danny Noppert, rigid action, a reset before he throws. Oh, that's a sign maybe that he's got his eye in. I've been an admirer of the game of Danny Noppert for years now. Ever since he started to come through the video system, I took notice. People in the know said, watch out for him, he's good. And you hear that a lot on the grapevine. But there was just something after I saw him throw for the first time. Oh, that was unlucky. He needs to eradicate that early. But I thought hang on a minute, there's something about the way he throws. It's very measured. And Dutch darts is not all about wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, darts. But it was there.
It really was, wasn't it? Danny Noppert starts with a 180, but the superb 164 set-up shot from Jermaine Wattimena has put him back in charge of this leg. And I think this is fascinating because Raymond van Barneveld, who you will see tonight, the guy who had been partnering Michael van Gerwen for the last few years at the World Cup of Darts.
86.
Yes, he's on his way out. He will not play in the World Cup again for the Netherlands. But that spot next to MVG is very much up for grabs, and these two are the ones jockeying for position at the minute. Jeffrey de Zwaan you can throw into the mix as well. I mean, who knows who's going to be the highest ranked behind MVG next year?
100.
Time will tell.
56.
We'll tell who's 1-0 up in a second, and that is Jermaine Wattimena, who has rebounded, like you said, Dan, very well after that start from Danny. Now, as we go into the World Cup, we always talk about how much we love watching pairs games, and should the singles part of it be eradicated, and you know, everyone's got their own opinion.
Well, Michael van Gerwen doesn't want the singles. He thinks it should be pairs all the way through.
I agree with him. I really do.
I've got some sympathy with that.
I think Simon Whitlock, who I was talking to about an hour ago, he said that the format of best of 9 to start is too cutthroat. He thinks it should be longer, but he's entitled to his opinion. But I, for one, would love to see, very much similar to the BDO, I'd love to see a Europe Cup with 4 members of each team.
100.
Imagine the England team, imagine the Scotland team, imagine the Dutch team.
Yeah, well, you'd be looking at these two, MVG and probably de Zwaan. I think they'd be the top 4 off the top of my head.
Well, imagine the excitement around that. That'd be great.
It does. It would be really interesting. I mean, I think, to be honest, it's only, for my mind, the World Cup, it's only really
60.
over the last couple of years where it's really turned into a tournament that is less of a novelty and more of a really interesting contest. And it's because we've seen the increase in the strength in depth. Other teams are standing up and showing that they can have an impact. Yes, I mean, from the very start, you know, when Spain caused that incredible shock, but it was a massive shock because C-Rod and Tony Alcinas were pretty much unknowns at the time. Not unknowns, but they hadn't done as much as, say, the Spanish team that goes in this year of Tony Alcinas and Cristo Reyes. You know, if they went and beat a big team, you go, well, hang on, they've claimed big scalps and played really top darts individually over the last few years. But Asia's becoming even stronger. Germany's become a really good team. The Polish team looks dangerous.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I played in many a World Cup myself, but you know, we never got easy draws. We always seem to get Ireland early on, which is never simple. But Jermaine was looking to get that 57 done first. He might have gone double 19 if he had got it. But Danny has responded rather well here. Could be in for a long old battle here. Tops for Noppert. Tens. That
20.
is a rather big miss.
75.
And Wattimena cannot wait to get to the hockey to give himself one shot at tops. Incoming, in hitting, and there's an absolute whelp of noise.
Third leg, Jermaine to throw first. Game on.
I mean, it is, as I say, playing in his home country that seems to make Jermaine Wattimena turn into a different animal. But that is probably as big a celebration as I've ever seen from Jermaine Wattimena. Maybe he does feel like he's got a point to prove. There was a big debate about whether Barney would be going to the World Cup. And Jermaine, he would have felt aggrieved had he been overlooked with the work that he's done to get up the rankings. That's 4 perfect darts to start the leg. But now that he's there, he has to go and deliver. And there's more pressure on Jermaine Wattimena in this World Cup than there is on most other players, because if he doesn't, he's playing alongside the best player in the world, and if he feels that he lets him down in that,
80.
then the first thing people are going to do, well, you should have put Barney and he's won it a few times.
Yeah, you are right. That is exactly what people are going to say. The thing about this tournament here for Jermaine is that he's got to focus on trying to win this tournament, and if he was to do it, that would be enormous for his career. What he does at the World Cup is what's important. what he does here is got no bearing on the World Cup for me. Maybe from a confidence perspective only.
100.
But
Only require 85.
if he bubbles this weekend, he could well do something very
He's
special
gone for
indeed.
the
And he's
Jimmy
already
Wattimena.
halfway after an 11 darter. That was a massive kill
Reverse.
of 85 and 2. He's looking very good indeed.
Well, there are times when players, something big happens. They win something, or
140.
they have a great run somewhere, or they get picked or qualify for a tournament for the first time, and it can inspire them. And maybe Jermaine Wattimena, by being acknowledged as the best Dutch player around outside of Van Gogh, and that's basically what the World Cup of Darts is saying, then maybe he starts to feel, I am one of the big boys. It's about time I start stamping my authority.
96.
I stamp my authority in my own country against one of the guys who is challenging for that title.
44.
All seems to have aligned for Jermaine at this point in time, isn't it? Because when questions are asked of his eligibility, and I don't think it should be questioned. I think he's without a doubt the man to go in there because of consistency over the last 2 years. It's on the order of merit, but ironically, when he has to play in the Netherlands just before the World Cup, his first game's against another Dutchman. So people are obviously going to ask questions. And you're right, Dan. He seems to be answering that with capital letters.
Danny Unicorn, 167.
Well, he's got 2 visits for this, Danny Noppert, so he's probably just going to stay on the treble 20. Should do now. He's not, though. Are you going for it? You are. Oh, of course it is! Wow! What a game we've got here. Jermaine Wattimena averaging way over a ton. Danny Noppert taking out the 167 completely unnecessarily just to get on the board. Statement.
Dead cut?
Well, I mean, it's less of a distraction shot, isn't it? But I mean, it's certainly making a statement.
Well, the emphasis of the dead cat shot is unnecessary or a little bit cocky. And I'd say that was maybe unnecessary, but it was very, very good indeed. And what's more, listen to the crowd when he hit that bullseye. He got them on side. And you were on stage earlier with Jacques Nulat talking about this game, and there was half the crowd going for Jermaine and half were going for Danny.
Pretty much, yeah. It would be
99.
It would be interesting, asking Dutch fans who is the most popular, who they think is the best, who they would want. I think a lot of people would be looking at Jeffrey Desvant just because he's had some notable successes. Obviously, he's won a title this year. He'd won one last year. And the run at the World Match Play, I mean, he was doing stuff that, not many players have ever done. The sort of performances he was putting in back-to-back in major tournaments.
I'd put in Dirk van Dijvenbode just for that. He would really rustle things up.
Well, we're not going to see the 170 to follow the 167, but a 130 out shot is
Danny
makeable.
Unicorn, 130.
Could be another bullseye finish here for Noppert.
There's legs in this match if he gets this. Doesn't get there with the treble. Jermaine has a similar shot.
57.
One big treble,
110.
one single. He could get a shot at a double, and he will. Guarantees a shot at tops. Oh, that's brilliant from Wattimena.
Really, really good. 15 darter to hold his throw under pressure.
Game on.
And Jermaine Wattimena is still averaging 104. He's not missed a dart at double. And we've already seen a really special display from Simon Whitlock. I know that people, if you've not been watching this
99.
afternoon, you've just come back, oh, Whitlock's averaged 103, or he's blown away that German bloke on his debut. He had to average 103 there.
That's exactly what he told me. I went to have a little word with him after he came off stage, and I said, I told you he was good, and he said, I'm glad you did. And I said he had 103 average there, and he said exactly what you said. He said, because I had to.
Yeah, he did need to. If he'd slipped up once in that game, it could have been very, very different. Huge fan of Florian Hempel. Hope we see a lot more of him over the course of this year.
Best quiff in darts right now?
I mean, look, he's up there. Florian Hempel. 4 out of 4. Every single one of them on double top. Checkouts of 56, 75, 85 and 110. He's going up.
Who does he think he is, Robert Thornton?
Wow.
Hitting 4 tops out of 4 tops. Yeah, there you go.
87.
That's what we call 44 in darts, the 4 tops.
Motown roots. He is. Very much Thornton-esque this, isn't it? Smashing 180s, hit loads of double tops. Thank you very much.
I don't think much of Glenn Durrant's Ryan Searle haircut, by the way.
I'm
I'm sorry, Glenn, but you can't pull it off as well as the Guns N' Roses of darts.
140, you only recall 161.
Oh, treble 17. Oof, my word.
78.
Loose
Then
last
you
darts.
recall 146.
Do sometimes see that from Wattimena as he moves around the board to different areas. This is pressured. Does he stay or does he move to the 18s? Beautiful dart, double 16. Danny Noppert clings on in there with another massive combination checkout.
Well, in boxing terms, this match is just all about massive punches. Big hitting. And Noppert, well, if he's going to win this match, he might need 4 massive checkouts as well.
Well, Jermaine, it's not an exaggeration to say that Jermaine Wattimena would have blown away some opponents 6-0 by now.
96.
Danny Noppert has taken out 2 enormous checkouts. He really needed that 146. He didn't need the 167, but he went for it anyway. Look at that.
Well, apparently this weekend, Danny Noppert is not going to be involved in any rubbish games. And you may well say that there are no rubbish games. Well, sometimes you get a bit of a bad egg. But the game with Ward yesterday was just delectable. And this one is just as good.
Look at this.
140.
Proper darts, and he's left the 161 again. They have played each other before, these two, but only a couple of times. They were both last year, once on the Euro Tour. Danny won that. Gets the counting right.
39, you only recall 161.
51. Oh, he missed it again, the same area. And he put another one in the one.
You recall 107.
Yeah, he overcorrected on that one. Got it low instead of the other one, which was just over the 51. But this one would be some shot. It's not going to be, but boy, was that close. And it's 83. May have to go now. That's a really good dart from Danny Noppert. But it's going to be 2 at double 16. Double 8 isn't there, and Danny Noppert is invited in once more.
74.
Flawless on tops, but 16 and 8, not so good for the machine gun. Danny Noppert.
How much of tops can he see after this?
Well, half of it. And that's all he needs, because Danny Noppert has pulled this back to 4-3. Fascinating contest between the two men from the Netherlands here in Zwolle.
How often do you see Danny Noppert that fired up? After he hit that tops, he was giving it some licks.
Wave leg Danny to throw first. Game on.
Both men averaging over a ton. We've only seen 5 darts missed at double in this match.
Well, I don't know who these guys support in football, but this is a bit like PSV versus Ajax. I don't think there's any love lost, but this is a really good quality match.
There you see it. 315 darters, a couple of 4-visit legs. It's only that second leg where Danny Noppert missed 3 darts that allowed Jermaine Wattimena to steal in there with a 75 checkout.
60.
Not sure about staying on the 60 there for Danny. I think that was the right time to switch. But this game seems to be
100.
just settling down a little bit now after some earlier fireworks. But it's a huge leg for Wattimena, because if he can nick it, he's only going to get one more, and that puts Danny Noppert in the corner.
Nobody puts Noppert in the corner.
96.
You can't possibly use that line with anybody with Robert Thornton. Don't put Robert Thornton in the corner.
95.
You never know. Robert Thornton's been put in the corner a little bit this season, and he came out swinging last week.
Oh, 9 darter, run to the semis. 4 and an ace.
100.
Happy leaves another massive finish. But they've been de rigueur for Noppert so far today.
60.
60 from Jermaine. So tight on that top wire.
The heat map shot only gets 60. It looks better if you plotted one of those heat maps that you use to track footballers running around the pitch. Oh, another one in there.
Great lie.
I'm surprised.
I'm amazed that hasn't gone in the 60 because his dart's lie to the left. So that must have flown through the flight.
128.
Plan B wasn't bad. But plan A for Wattimena was almost executed. And Noppert does love 12s. He loves double 12.
Yeah, tops and 12s, very much Noppert's doubles of choice. Well, you wouldn't know it from that one. Bottom of the shop. Well, the Noppert fans find their voice.
60.
And Jermaine Wattimena looking significantly more subdued than he was early on in this game when he was threatening to run away with it. As I say, other players might have lost this one 6-0 to the machine gun. But a couple of big checkouts and then capitalising on very few mistakes
60.
from Wattimena. It's only a couple of darts he's missed at double in this game.
His trebles have dried up a little bit. He's had more visits of 100 as opposed to 140s earlier in the match. He's giving Danny a little bit more time to breathe. And every time I say that, I cast my mind back to the game of Ross Smith and Christopher Tyskie last night. I spoke to Ross afterwards and I said,
46.
he gave you no time to breathe. And he said, that's exactly how I felt. I felt suffocated by his brilliance.
60.
And Wattimena early in the match was suffocating Noppert, but ultimately Noppert's got the little pin out and burst the balloon so he can breathe. He's having to reset here after that bad first start, and he's just trying to compose himself.
Jermaine still holds the advantage, having won the ball in this game.
70
first. Noppert has done really well to dig his heels in and fight back here, but there is still more fighting that needs to be done.
60.
And you can see Jermaine just getting a little exasperated because he's not finding the 60 as regularly. This could change things.
There was a little yep when he hit that first 60. And there you go, there's 3 in the bag. Not a bad miss that actually, because you've got to take the odd number off at some point. And he's done that. Still on a 2-darter. Noppert is not going to get a shot at 2 double tops. He's got to be careful here. May go 17s to square it up and has done. Advantage Wattimena.
Oh, double-double. Oh, we've seen it all in this game. Look at that, Jermaine Wattimena. 2 double 19s. And he is back on top in this one.
Well, that is nothing short of pure audacity because it's the wrong shot. That's the right one in this spot. But when he's up top, that's why people go double 18, double top, to stay in the same region.
But come on, you can't criticise 2 double 19s
I am not
there, Nick.
criticising it, not at all. It is just that good.
Special. He is 5 out of 7 on the doubles. Danny Noppert is 5 into the 9. Make that 6, and he's a man who has hit a 9-darter already this year. It was in one of the semi-finals he's made on the Pro Tour. Can Danny Noppert take out another combination finish to give us yet another 9-darter on the Euro Tour this year? No, he can't.
Putting the no in Noppert. What he wants now is this leg to take us all the way.
65.
That's okay right now. It's a big advantage.
Single 19 leaves a finish.
96.
That's exactly what he's got. So Danny Noppert, he cannot give Jermaine a sniff because special things have been happening in this game. Single 16 to leave that double top.
36.
That one was pulled severely. That was a good 1.5 inches left of where he was aiming. Pressure applied in the best way possible from the machine gun. And Noppert cannot afford misses here.
Double 5.
35.
Called it tense. And after a fantastic contest, Danny Noppert just seizes up at the wrong moment. And he does not take it to a last leg decider. Fabulous contest between these two. In the year where Raymond van Barneveld retires from the game, this is his last ranking tournament in his home country. Two up-and-coming Dutch players have just shown us the future of Dutch darts, but it is the machine gun, Jermaine Wattimena, who progresses and will take on either Mickey Mansell or the number 2 seed Ian White.
Ja, dames en heren, als er 2 spelen, dan moeten we toch afscheid nemen van 1. Prachtige wedstrijd gespeeld, een paar mooie finishes gezien. We gaan hem ongetwijfeld terugzien. Uit Friesland, Danny Noppert. Jermaine, gefeliciteerd natuurlijk. Je moet tegen Danny spelen, een landgenoot. Er is de laatste tijd al genoeg om Nederland en wie met Vergerwen mag spelen natuurlijk op de World Cup. Is dat extra moeilijk? Geeft het extra druk?
Ja, nou niet. Het is nog steeds een European Tour natuurlijk. Ik moet zeggen, ja, ik kom op een gegeven moment die 2 lekken goed weg tegen Danny. Hij mist die pijlen maar uit de laatste leg natuurlijk. Hij mist een paar gooi weg. Maar ik zou wel finish zeggen 167 en 146 uit. Dat is natuurlijk ook oud. Maar op dit moment geeft het nog geen druk. Ik ben al bezig met de European Tour en nog niet bezig met de World Cup.
Dat is een goed antwoord en een heel diplomatiek antwoord ook natuurlijk. Morgen kom je terug, morgenmiddag. Geen makkelijke opgave. Of Ian White of Mickey Mansell. Ook 2 spelers die niet echt in jouw tempo spelen.
Nee, ja, het tempo maakt niet uit. Ik probeer al heel vaak te zeggen. Kijk, ik lees natuurlijk heel veel op Facebook, op dagnieuws, dat soort dingen. Dat is wel 1 ding wat ik kwijt wil. Kijk, iedereen zegt dat de snelle speler niet tegen langzaam speler kan gooien. Maar als je de resultaat ziet, mij afgelopen weekend weer tegen Just a Pipe 100 gemiddeld gooi ik. Ik heb met Just a Pipe, ik heb van Brandon Dolan gewonnen. Dus tempo maakt niet uit.
Dan moet het goed komen morgen. We gaan hem morgen terugzien. Dames en heren, geef nog 1 keer hartelijk applaus. Jermaine Wattimena!